Aha. Yep, we are live. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the Narik Chase channel. I'm your boy Narik Chase, and I have with me again KP. We are in.
Yay!
We're ready to do another character ranker. And this character ranker, we're going to be talking about the awesome, the badass, the most beefcakiest of beefcakes, Thanos.
Ooh, I'm scared. It's like saying Mufasa,
Fasa.
but it's Thanos.
I'm gonna go ahead and let you start this out, Ben. Go ahead. Let's talk about Thanos from the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Well, we got Thanos, who's kind of like the DC Universe's dark side. Very, very powerful ancient race. He came around in the 1973. That's how long the character has existed. And for most people, didn't even know who Thanos was until we started watching the Marvel Cinematic Universe, starting back, when we had Iron Man and Thor and a few others start coming up, and we just kind of learn a little bit about things. This is a character who's been brooding in the background for the last 10 years through almost every one of the MCU movies in some form or fashion. That we deal with an Infinity Stone. We're dealing with Thanos, whose basically ultimate goal is to basically equate everything. He's kind of a mixed character because, his own world died because of overpopulation, just everything. So his goal is to basically equal everything by cutting everything in half, just getting rid of everything in half. Um, so his ultimate goal is to get a device called the Infinity Gauntlet, which contains 6 stones, each with a different ability, but to equalize the universe so that he feels his purpose is fulfilled. And we've already seen the result of his work from Infinity War, if you've watched that movie, because we saw him in Avengers, we saw him in Guardians of the Galaxy, we saw him Age of Ultron, and then full-fledged appearance in Infinity War, which was he was pretty badass. I mean,
Yes.
take no qualms. Business is business, and his business, he finally got tired of waiting in the background and staying in the shadows, and he just flat came out. And when he did, he brought it with him. We saw a lot of crazy stuff going on in Infinity War. And, it's basically, if you want something done, you got to do it yourself.
Yep.
Well, that's basically what happened. Tired of playing in the shadows. I'm tired of hiding out. I'm going to come and I'm going to show you what business is all about. And he did, too. Very impressively.
Yes.
Very impressively did. And especially with his ability and knowledge base of the Infinity Gauntlet, which I thought was great, how they implemented the gauntlet and how he was able to utilize things and understand. Some people didn't even have a concept of how to truly use what it had. He did, and he did use it very well, which was pretty freaking sweet.
One of the best fights I've ever seen.
Oh man, there was many. I mean, there was a whole bunch of them though. I mean, even on Titan itself was pretty wild of a fight.
Mm-hmm.
When everybody kind of went after him and teamed up, and you kind of said, they should have won that fight. And there's a lot of theories on that fight too of why it went the way it went. Especially dealing with Doctor Strange. And I found out Doctor Strange starts filming very soon, which I am definitely looking forward to.
They got a meme, and it was talking about Doctor Strange. I want to bring this in. It was funny. It said Doctor Strange, and I think it said 3 years. He had a movie. He talked to he made a deal with the Dormammu. He did 2 other things, and then it showed a picture of him doing that, seeing all the futures and stuff.
Yeah.
And it said he saw Avengers 4.
I like the one where he has him with there's a little meme floating around. It has him standing there, and he's got his hand reaching through a portal, and then the other hand is coming out behind him, scratching his back. So he's using the portal to scratch his own back. I was like, come on. But it's funny, though. I mean, I've really been impressed. I mean, we'll do a whole other thing on Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I I've always kind of kept up with Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom because they kind of tie together, and we've talked about that before. And they actually have a relation somewhere in the long lines, especially in the What If comic series that came a long time ago. And I'm pretty sure if I go to my other house, I'll find that comic book because it was very interesting, the What If concept that they did with Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom. But we'll save that for another conversation. But
Okay.
we're talking, Thanos
Mr.
came,
Badass.
he dropped it, he
He
pounded
dropped the
everybody.
hammer. Well, I don't know if he literally dropped the hammer, but
No,
he
he
he's like now one of my all-time favorite bad guys because I've never cared about Thanos before this. When I read up on his character in the comics and stuff, I didn't like his design. I thought the design was stupid. I didn't like his motivation. I was like, there's like nothing. And then the whole time they try to, from what I've seen in the comics, is like they try to make him like he's supposed to be badass, but he just got to have this gauntlet and stuff. I'm like, this man ain't nothing.
but you
But
didn't understand it till the movie came, and then you realized.
yes,
Now I know. Now I
Josh
understand
Brolin.
why he's the way he is.
Josh Brolin nailed that role. I love the character. He was badass, and like I said, I've always rated my villains or antagonists, villains, whatever, two ways: personality and badass. He was both, and he had a great personality. He was like one of those villains that you could talk to and have like an intellectual conversation with. He
Well,
might still,
that's like the whole thing with Gamora and that whole situation.
yeah,
I mean,
that was heartbreaking.
and you can sit there and he's like, his driving purpose is to equal the universe. That's his absolute goal, to save the It's strange, just the way he portrayed it. Just by killing off half the population of a planet so that planet would still live. Non-judgmental. He just took half, and it just happened.
And it
No,
made sense.
and he made no no quorums, no judgments. He just basically put a line, and that half died, and this half lived. And when you see him, his ultimate goal. I mean, he's so driven to keep the universe from screwing itself up so badly because of that. And then when we see him getting the Soul Stone and the sacrifice he has to make, he was willing to make that sacrifice for the greater good in his mind of balancing the universe.
And
I
what
mean,
makes
you
it
could feel it.
cool
You could
is
see it. You could, even though the character is CGI rendered, but they're using Josh Brolin. I mean, they have his face. If you just take away the character picture, he's there acting these roles out with a motion capture system. So
yeah, that motion capture is a beast.
when you see him, I saw like a clip of him and Captain America at Wakanda. When they're in that last tail end of the scene, they're fighting each other. And then when Thor comes in and drops, I can't think of the new Axe's name, but you see the expression on Josh Brolin's face that you see on Thanos.
Yep.
So you see all that emotion carried with that, and that's was impressive. I mean, we've had motion capture for a while. I mean, we saw Avatar, which is where it was kind of really pioneered for facial, not body, facial, because the body we had Lord of the Rings with Andy Serkis. Motion capture has been around for a long time, but the facial version where they can translate the character to the person, like Zoe Saldana playing, in the characters. We have Josh Brolin now playing Thanos, the ultimate bad guy in the universe. So, yes, you actually really get the depth of the character. It's not just a CGI rendered character. It's just a mask, like a visual effect.
Yep.
And you sense that emotion. That's how good it is. And, when that scene came up, I was like, oh, man, this is going to suck hard. You could feel that, he was so torn about a decision of he could stop now and let things go and still carry on with what he considers his child, or for the betterment of the entire universe, the one for the many, he sacrificed his own daughter to do it.
Yep.
And you felt that emotion.
I do. I will say I like this about like okay, what do you think about this? I did like the fact that he took off the suit.
His armor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think it actually helped to flesh him out more.
Well, at that point, I mean, he doesn't need the armor really that much anymore anyway, because once he got the first in stone, I mean, we didn't even see what happened to Terra Nova. We have no idea what happened to them to get the first the Power Stone. So we have no idea what happened to those guys. They're probably been wasted.
I hope because
Well, we
they
do
do
know that
have to
We
first
do know that
movie.
Nova Corps does. I mean, they have to survive, but they probably were diminished greatly because of his assault.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they had already, with the Kree and the Destroyer when he showed up, just
Yeah.
bringing the Power Stone pretty much decimated that planet pretty hard. Because we don't have a time frame from when they dropped off the Power Stone to Nova Corps thing to when Thanos goes after it. We have no idea because we bounced between a couple different movies already with Thor, the last Thor movie, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and all that stuff. So there's obviously a point of time here that we missed in the creation of that. So who knows?
I like, one of the things that I did like about his character, when I mean by personality, uh, part of it is what you said about what it did to Gamora. Part of it is his reasoning, but part of it is mostly the respect that he actually showed like the other characters.
Yeah, to
The
his enemies
conversation,
and stuff.
yep, the conversation he had with Doctor Strange, the
Yes.
conversation he had with Tony Stark, the conversation he had with Scarlet Witch. I like that even though he's like this dick, but he's not like stupid. He's not
He goes, I
completely
commend you
like
for
a
your
mindless monster. I
second. He
like
goes, I
that.
commend you for your belief, your trust, or whatever in your comrades. But you know what? I'm just going to kick your ass and keep on trucking because I have bigger, better things to take care of.
And that's
Which was cool.
yeah. That's what made the conversation between him and Tony Stark, like, even though they're fighting each other to the death, he stabbed Tony. He was like, I hope they remember you. And I will leave half of the humans on Earth. And
Yeah.
it was like a respect thing.
Mm-hmm.
Even the conversation with Doctor Strange, where he was like, well, this is how my world was and everything, and this is what I'm doing. Like,
This is why I'm doing it. This is exactly why I'm doing it. And I hope you understand it's not personal, but this is my goal. And see, that's, it's like a comparison to Darkseid. Darkseid just wants to conquer, and Thanos' whole goal was to equal balance. I mean, everything that he's done is driven to one factor, to
I hope,
balance the
I do hope
universe.
if they do continue on with the Justice League sequel, which I hope they do, and they bring out Darkseid, I hope they change him a little bit too, to where, because Thanos in the comics is different from what we've seen on screen. They do
Yes.
two totally different motivations. So I
Well,
hope they.
no, they have the same goal. They do have the same goal, but it's the persona that you see is different.
Ah,
But the
I thought
goal is always this goal has always been the same. Thanos has always had the same goal to get the Infinity Gauntlet, and because they actually had the Infinity War series, which
I
was
thought he was
ultimately his
getting
goal.
I thought he was getting it to appeal to death. The
Well, for Lady Death, I mean,
Yeah.
he wanted to sacrifice, for Lady Death and catch her attention. Yes. So
I
I mean,
thought
there is a side. You're right. The comics has the Lady Death portion in there that
I was like,
hasn't been
I
mentioned.
never really liked that, but I need to go read the full comics to get the full understanding.
Yeah, I mean, the goal. I mean, there's still the same thing. I mean, half the population of the universe pretty much at one shot was to appease her at one point, and in the movie it's more towards balancing the universe so that others may thrive and grow. So there's a little play there, but we'll go with that. We'll go with that.
Um, I'm like I said, I really enjoyed the character. I thought it was great. The overall design was really good as well too. I love the design of the Affinity Gauntlets, and like you said about his abilities, I love how he did utilize it. Like whether he was just using them one at a time or actually in combat was just freaking amazing.
Well, I like the fact that it was interesting because when we saw Thor Ragnarok, and we know that's where the cosmic cube was, and we saw the Infinity Gauntlet there. But when Helena knocked it over, she goes, "Fake." Now we know Odin had the gauntlet at one time. So the the question I kind of was still floating with is, and at least from Thor Ragnarok's side, when they had the smelter, the master blacksmith guy who lost his hands.
Yeah.
He said that Thanos showed up and had him make another Infinity Gauntlet. He didn't make the. I don't think he made the original. I think he made a copy. And that's a big question. I never got a real good definitive answer. Or was he referring to that he created the original and it was lost? Or
I
did
thought
he
about
create
that.
a replica? Because the way it sounded to me is that Thanos couldn't get a hold of the other gauntlet. And so he had him make one. And then pretty much, as punishment, no one else could replicate it. So he cut his hands off and killed everybody else there. So I don't know. That's something that I've never truly gotten an answer for.
I was thinking about that, but if you remember in one of the movies at the end of the movie, he was like, I don't know which movie it was. He was like, okay, I got to do this myself. He puts the gauntlet on then.
Well, you see him putting it on, and that's what I thought he was on Asgard. But then, the question, when you see him, he had to look like you see the Infinity Gauntlet mold sitting there. Did he make a copy? Or did he get or was he referring to a copy from long ago? I mean, I'm a little lost there. I'm not sure exactly what's going
I want to know
on.
what's so special about this gauntlet that I know
It's able to hold the 6 Infinity Stones.
but like, what is it made of? Is it like a one-time deal? Because it's going back to what you were saying. Like Thor's hammer was made from a star, so it's kind of hard to make another hammer like that unless you know how to do a star. But
Yeah.
okay, what is this gauntlet made out of to where it can house the Infinity Gauntlets?
Exactly. I mean, I don't know.
The gauntlet did get messed up at the end of the movie.
Oh yeah,
so
it was blasted.
Yeah, so he's got to make another one, right? Or does he have more in? Does he have like 2 or 3 in?
We will see that in the next Avengers movie. And it has to deal, I'm pretty sure at this point they're dealing with the from Ant-Man. Have you seen Ant-Man and Wasp yet?
I still ain't seen it yet.
Okay. I'll save it for that. Watch Ant-Man and Wasp. And then at the very end, you will have an idea of where they're going to go with in Avengers 4. So you have to wait for that. And then we can talk about that, because it'll make sense at that point. Because if I try to explain it to you now, you won't understand. You'll be like, huh? What? But watch that one, and then we'll come back to it. And then you'll understand.
I would say this. Thanos is one of those villains that is one of those characters that a movie takes a long time to reveal him. And then when you get the reveal, you're satisfied. I was freaking impressed. I thought it was gonna be like, oh man, this is what we get. No, like Ronan the Accuser. We didn't get that. We got Heath Ledger's Joker.
He came in and just pounded the crap. Everybody.
So in closing, Thanos is just an awesome character. Ken, how would you rank Thanos?
I like Thanos. He's a 5 out of 5 for me.
5 out of 5 for me too. That is, he's a 5 out of 5. First one I think we got so far.
he's definitely just, the bringing the character to life. I mean, we didn't know what to expect. I mean, because like I say, we've seen Thanos briefly. I mean, we saw him in Iron Man, saw him in Thor, just briefly, just in the background, and that was it. Or the extra scenes too. Mm-hmm. So when he finally stepped into play, basically we knew he showed up at Thor Ragnarok at the end, and literally Avengers Infinity War carried on right at that moment, just a few moments after that. And he was all about business, man. There was just no ands, ifs, or buts.
Yep.
So that brought a whole lot of awesomeness to the character, and especially when he pounded the crap out of the freaking Hulk. I mean, one of the more powerful characters in the Marvel universe, and he was dancing him around like a toy. Yeah,
straight up brutal.
Yeah, I mean, that's why the Hulk don't want to come back, because he already got his ass beat by the Thanos taunting around. So, but yeah, I was pretty wild about that. So I'm very happy, and I cannot wait to see Avengers 4. And I'd like to see. I have an idea what they're going to do, but that could always change. We have another year and a half. Yeah, into 2019. Into 20, I think September 19th, 2019. I think is the date. So
okay. Well,
can't wait.
guys, we got our first 5 out of 5 Thanos of the MCU. Yes. In the comment section below, guys, let us know your thoughts about Thanos. Did you like him? Did you not like him? Did you like how he kicked ass? Did you like his personality? Did you like the way he was designed? Just give us your thoughts. Be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what's going on this channel. And we'll catch you guys later.